Hello, witches. For some reason, I was having a hard time coming on to this live tonight, so I had no choice but to do it a different way. I'm not sure exactly why I was having a struggle on my end, but I was. So I'm going to cross my fingers that this time it is going fine. Um, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting to see whether or not. I don't know. Anyways, if sorry, regardless, I'm getting on late. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to get on live. I am now. So let's just start. It's been one of those nights. I don't know. I guess I'll have to look it up. Anyways, it's been one of those weeks, hasn't it? Are you guys ready for tonight to learn how to cut cords? To learn how to actually cut cords and ground and protect your energy from negative energies, lower energies. And if you're an empath, you will know that it is one of the hardest things to do is to identify what energy is yours and what energy is somebody else's. So it's important to do this on a daily basis. That way you can start actually knowing what's your energy and what is somebody else's. It'll be easier. Okay. Um, let's talk about negative energy to begin with. Negative energy can come in a form of so many different ways. Okay. I can probably go on for hours about it, and I'm not going to because I'm an Aquarius. I can go very deep into space with you guys on that stuff. Okay. Like I could. But what I will let you know when it comes to negative energy is regardless of the energy that you're picking up, you still have the power to control it, regardless of what you're feeling. Okay. You still have free will. Okay. Yes, some energy will be overpowering, some might feel debilitating at times. Okay. Your anxiety might kick in. But that is your fear that's actually kicking in. Okay. Is your fear around setting boundaries that is that is picking up that negative energy, because if you are really strong in your boundaries, you will have no problems shutting down a negative energy. Not saying that if there's a negative energy attachment to you, that might be completely different. Okay, so I don't want to dismiss that stuff. Okay, I'm talking the empath part of you, that if you are going into um let's say a room, and all of a sudden you are feeling really negative, drawn down, heavy, you don't want to be there, you know, you might even get a huge set of emotions that could come over you. You might feel angry. You might start um, feeling sad. And if you're drinking on top of that, you're not going to be able to control that energy that's coming in, and that's where those angry energies, that violence that can come through with some people. Okay, again, I'm not making excuses for them. Okay, because there's a lot of stuff that can cause a negative energy, but there can be one part of it that is yourself that isn't setting those boundaries where you actually say no. No is a very powerful protection, just so you know. Being able to say no and stand in your power and not let the energy of that other person affect you, and um what you feel. Sometimes you can feel guilty, sometimes you can feel intimidated if you are um around somebody that has a very strong essence about them, that you feel that you need to cave and back down on what feels comfortable for you. That's not standing in your power, and that can affect your energy that you're bringing, that you're allowing to attach to you. Okay, once you start learning to empower yourself and actually learn how to stand up and speak up and actually speak and stand up that power for yourself, you will find that saying no and that energy around you is going to change. You're going to feel a lot more. I don't know the word that I don't know. It's not so much a superpower, but it is. It makes you feel invincible in a way. When you start learning how to say no, and healthy no, okay? Not just saying no for the sake of saying no because you're being a dick about it, but actually saying no because you can't, you don't want to, like, and you standing in the power and not letting somebody's guilt or shame affect you. Oh yeah, you're a strong force to be reckoned with. Okay? Entities and negative energy does not like that. The more you vibrate on a higher level, the more harder it is for negative energy to attach to you. So you are responsible for that energy. First and foremost, you are responsible for your energy. I'm not saying that the other energy can't affect you, but you are in control of that. So part of that, aside from learning to say no, okay, because you need to also be able to um, discern what is yours and what's not. Okay, so I like to use a form like what I call is cutting cords. Okay, and cutting cords is um, a protection for myself. It's a step in protecting myself. I do 3 different steps. Okay, I cut cords, I ground, and protect. Okay, so cutting cords is every person that you meet on daily, that you surround yourself with, you form a cord to, an attachment to. Okay, and that attachment can either be very, very strong or it can be weak. It might be just somebody that you pass by on the street and you have no interaction, and that little cord that's attached doesn't affect you. It's going to look like a fishing line, very, very thin. Okay, but you get enough of those and you don't detach from those energies, they start holding on to you. Okay, and they start building up like what a fiber would in your muscle. Okay, muscle fiber. Okay, they start building up. Okay, it can get to the point that you are, if you're not cutting those cords, healthy cords, okay, that you can start feeling that energy, especially if you're an empath or very sensitive to energy. Okay, you can start feeling that energy. And if you learn to cut those cords and saying, okay, that's not mine, that's, this is mine, this is yours. I can talk to you, I can acknowledge that you're there, but you don't need to be on me for me to know that you're there. Okay, it's like a clinging energy. Okay, that's what I call it, clingy. Okay, nobody wants to be clung to. Okay, it feels very heavy, feels very drapey, right? If it's somebody giving, even sometimes when you give somebody a hug, when you give somebody a hug and sometimes it feels really good and you're like, oh my god, you give freaking amazing hugs, but then you feel somebody else, let's say that's maybe a parent, and they put their arms around you and they drape themselves, it just feels heavy, and then you kind of go on your day feeling kind of, yeah, that's the stuff that you don't want to carry. Okay, your energy that you have, your connection, your cord that you have to your child, that's different. Especially if you're a new mom, you're going to have that connection. But as they grow up, you're going to have to cut those cords so that they can kind of leave the nest, right? Doesn't mean you won't have a connection with them. It just means that the cord doesn't have to be so strongly attached to you. You don't have to feel it. You can be a mom and know that it's there. Your loved one that you live with, your partner, you're going to feel those feelings and emotions a lot easier. We all know that if our partner's in a bad mood, we start feeling like we're in a bad mood. Why is that? because we're connected with them. There's an energy cord attached. We can't see it. It's just attached. Once we start recognizing, okay, there's an attachment. It's not a negative attachment. It's just an attachment. Okay. There's different types of attachments. Okay. The ones to our loved ones isn't negative, but they can feel heavy because they're not ours. We're not meant to carry everybody's stuff. We all have our growth process for a reason, right? So this process of cutting cords is to cut those cords and remind yourself that, okay, I'm nice and clear. I'm a clean slate now. Now I can feel fresh. There's nothing on me. I can clear. Everything's clear, clean. Okay. And you don't feel that heavy energy. Guess how much more step that you, or how much more of a leap in your step you're going to have if you know that like you're going to feel a little bit more bouncy, right? A bounce to your step. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, a bounce to your step. Okay. You're going to feel that a little bit more. There's going to be a lot more joy, happiness, euphoric feeling because they're healthy. You can have those attachments with people without having the attachment. Okay. So the process that I do first thing in the morning, and this is an easy and a perfect one. Okay. We're going to keep this very, very simple. Okay. Everybody grabs a shower. Most people grab it first thing in the morning because they're going to work. Okay. Perfect time to do it. Kill two birds with one stone, right? You get in the shower. And as you're in the shower, I want you to visualize that you have this. I always say it's a machete. Okay. I get the big suckers out. I want these cords gone. So I visualize that I'm underneath this waterfall. The waterfall is the shower that's hitting my head. Okay. And I'll visualize this waterfall coming down over my body. And as the water is flowing on me, okay, I visualize that I have this machete that comes in and I start cutting, like it's like cutting the trees down, right? And you're going through rainforest and cutting all these trees down. Cut the cords. Visualize yourself cutting these cords, and don't visualize these ones as just being little, okay? Because they're not all little, especially around the heart. They're a lot bigger, especially around your root chakra. That's around the finances. A lot of people have a heavy attachment around the finances. Let's face it, prices are going up with everything right now. We're all feeling it somehow, okay? So if we start cutting the cords and we recognize that there's large cords that are attached to how we bring in money, how we love, how we accept that love, and just start cutting all the cords so that we're a clean slate every morning. Imagine the possibilities that could come in because you don't have anything stuck to you. You're open to receive blessings because there's no junk attached to you. You're not a stick of glue and you've got all this stuff on you that's every spot that you go to, you're getting, things attached to you. Okay. Cut it and see it cutting. But because we have these attachments every day, you can't do it once. It's not a once in a blue moon thing. It has to be on a daily thing. And if you get into the practice of doing it daily, then you can get into the practice of rising or raising your vibration. Every time you cut your cords, you're raising your vibration because you're allowing to release, you're allowing that flow, you're allowing for opportunities to come in. It's all about that. Now, there's after you're done cutting your cords, okay, and it can be simple, it doesn't have to be anything long and drawn out. Okay. I keep it very simple. I always say a little prayer to Archangel Michael. So what I'll do is I'll be in the shower. I'll let this water flow through me. And I'll just say, Archangel Michael, please cut all cords that are attached. that are not of my best and highest good, and I send them back to their highest, or I send them back to the rightful owners with no harm to none. And I visualize that every time I cut a cord, it's going back to the rightful owners. It's not hurting them, it's just going back to the rightful owner. It's not yours, it's somebody else's. So cut the attachment, send it back. You're not cutting the connection with that person, you're just cutting the cord. Okay? After you're done cutting the cords, once you're done, and I want you to really thoroughly go through seeing, remember your legs, remember your arms. You go over your arms, you go over your legs, you can do the actions to help visualize it actually happening. You need something that represents, get a pair of scissors and pretend you're cut, 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 cut. Okay? If that's what helps you to actually do that, then do it. Don't bring it into the shower, but you know what I mean. Visualize using whatever you need to cut those cords. But while you're in the shower, you can do grounding. Because now you're feeling flowy. Pretend you're under a waterfall, you're in some Caribbean place and you're like some tropical island and you're underneath, those beautiful beauties that you see and they're underneath the waterfall. Do the exact same thing. Okay? But now, after you're done, visualize all your cords being cut and all of that water washing all that stuff away from you, okay? Then I want you to then visualize yourself growing roots. Perfect time again. Once again, you're in the shower. You're under that waterfall. Remember, you're under that waterfall. Now you're going to stick your feet into the sand. You're already on the beach, right? You're going to put your feet into the sand and you're going to visualize that your feet are going into the sand. You've got them all covered, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to visualize growing roots from the bottom of your feet, and you're going to grow them so long that they keep on going through layers and layers of the ground. Going through, remember, trying to cut through to the core of the earth, okay? So you're going to visualize your roots growing from your feet, going to the center of the earth, and then you're going to wrap your roots right around the center of the earth. Okay? This is going to help anchor your grounding energies. It's going to have you've now cleansed yourself. You've just cut your cords. You've cleansed yourself. Now you're feeling great because now you've rooted. Now you've really placed your feet in the ground. Okay? Now you're really grounded. Well, you don't want to come out of the water, right? You don't want to come out without a towel, right? So you're going to wrap yourself around with some type of protection because maybe the air is a little bit on the cooler side and you don't want to be too cold. So you're going to wrap protection around you. Now, depending on what you're doing, okay, I usually visualize surrounding myself in a bubble. I visualize wrapping, like, I actually will visualize, like, if I'm stepping into a balloon. It's probably the easiest way that I visualize it. It's like stepping inside. You're going right inside the balloon, okay? It's like a rubber suit. But it's blowing up as you're doing it, okay? It's this big helium balloon that's just big and you can get in, right? It's not going to collapse on you. You get in and you're able to walk around in this bubble. But this bubble is so protected that it doesn't matter what gets shot at you. It's not coming. It's not going to hit you. It's just going to bounce off. Because that's the protection that your bubble that you're going to build. That's what you're going to visualize. This is all done visually. Okay? We all have the power to do this. And when you do that and you visualize going into this bubble now you're protected. You don't need this bubble big. You don't need it huge. You don't need to protect yourself from the whole world. You just need to protect yourself from the attitudes, the energies that come at you. You don't need that. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Okay? Just remind yourself of that. I say it all the time to myself, or remind myself if I see drama. Not my circus, not my monkeys. That reminds me that it's not mine to have to deal with. Okay? Now, those are the 3 steps that I do on a daily basis before I leave the house. As like I said, as an empath, it's so important for me to do it. If not, if I get hit with a low energy, sometimes it really wipes me on my feet. It does. All of a sudden, I'll feel down and go, oh my God, why do I feel so sad? It must have been somebody I passed by. Why am I feeling this? And sometimes it's meant to, sometimes it's meant to for a trigger because we have to clear it out. Not everything's meant to hold on to, okay? Remember, suppression doesn't heal. Speaking up and saying what you want or you don't want helps you heal, okay? Now, that's one form of protection, okay? Now, there's other things that you may do, may go around your house, and you might feel that everybody's negative, okay? And if that's the case, there's a few quick fixes that you can do, okay? One quick fix that you can do, smudging, okay? You may hear that it's sacred to only certain tribes. It depends on how you want to look at it. Any indigenous person that I have ever talked to has always told me that I have the right to do it. It's just they have their own ceremony, we have our own. Nothing's as long as we hold what our ritual as a sacred ritual for ourselves, okay? How you practice, that's your business, okay? They have their own way, we have our own way. Myself as a practicing witch is not going to be the same as what yours is. Okay, I'm very modern. I try to make sure that I reuse and repurpose things as much as I can because that's just how I roll. Okay, if I can. If I can make it myself, I try to make it myself. But I don't put these hard labels and hard um, rules on me to get down if I don't follow that exact, because you're not always going to be in the same situation every time that you're able to. Okay. But you can smudge, you can use incense, you can use singing bowls, you can use music. Okay. Believe it or not, classical music is very high vibration, very high vibration. Okay. Clears out a lot of negativity. And if you're dealing with something that's a little more reckless, like an entity type thing, 9 times out of 10, all you have to do is tell them to go. Smudge, open up the windows and say, this is not the time, this is not the place, this is not, move on, please. 9 times out of 10, that's going to work. That one time, you might have something that's a little bit more demonic, reckless. There's people who have gone through it. I'm not going to sit there and judge. I have not myself gone through a malicious um, spirit at all. I have seen some things, but I've never been in a malicious um, situation with a spirit before. But I have heard of stories, so I don't want to be in one of those situations. I applaud those who did actually go through them and live to tell about it without losing their freaking minds, because I don't know how you could do it. But there are some other things that you can do that, for the most part, will help clear out the air, clear out the energy. Salt rock crystals are another thing. Okay. And one thing that I asked you guys to do tonight was to bring spray bottle, witch hazel or alcohol. You can use vodka. You can use isopropyl, full moon water. Okay. Full moon water, okay, is used for banishing. That's why I'm using it. Okay. Um, and then salt. This can be your regular table salts. Your pink Himalayan salts has more of a loving energy that puts out there to kill off. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. I thought I actually had some, and I found out last minute that I didn't. Don't know why, but um, yeah. But anyways, you can use regular table salt, and you're going to want to use an essential oil. You may not want to. If you don't want to use an essential oil, you don't have to. The reason why though you use the witch hazel though is so that it helps to blend. Okay. Um, ooh, I'm just looking at the oils that I have because I didn't grab one right away. I'm just trying to think of what I want to use. I might have something up my sleeve here. Okay, so if you have your bottle here, this is so easy to make. Okay, you're going to fill, I'm going to say, about 1/3 of it full. Witch hazel, I'm going to say more like 2/3. I use these little bottles because they're just easy to fill up. See, very quick, painless. Okay, then you're going to want to put your salt. You're going to want to put enough salt in there um, to have a purpose, but you also want it to dissolve too. Yeah, and I think I just wet it too much. Maybe I'll do it this way. Some of the salt got wet, so now it's not coming out. Yeah, that's me. That's okay. You'll get used to how I do things. I'm not perfect at it. You know what? No witch is perfect, right? That's how I look at it. No witch is perfect. There's so much trial and error. Okay. Don't have to be perfect at it. Okay. But this you want, I'm just going to shake it up a little bit so I dissolve it. Okay. And then I'm going to give you a chance to do that. I'm going to go get myself essential oil that I forgot to grab. I'm right here though. So go ahead and mix your stuff, guys. Cedarwood is really good. Okay. Peppermint is another one that's really good. You can use a couple of them. Those are the two that I see right away. So I'm going to do that first. Okay. That way I'm not wasting time. There we go. You want it to dissolve. If you want to put more in, it's totally up to you. Okay. This is totally, it's, I eyeball it. Okay. I'm not one for measuring. I don't get all the fancy stuff out to measure. I eyeball a lot of the stuff that I do. Okay. That's the chemist in me. I can't help it. And you're going to put as many drops in it as you want. Obviously, not all. You don't need to go wasting it, okay? You put enough in for it to smell the way that you want it to smell, okay? Make it smell nice. You know, put the if you're gonna get rid of demons, right? If you're gonna go ghost hunting and you want to get rid of demons, yeah, make sure it smells good, right? Might as well. So, I always love the smell of peppermint. And sometimes you'll find that they don't come out very quick. So it's just easier to take off the lid and help pour it out a little bit. Be careful. You don't need a whole bunch, guys, okay? You just want enough to give you a smell, okay? Okay. And you're going to give it a little bit of mix, okay? Just like that. And that's your spray. That's all it is. Okay? You don't need to go crazy, okay? Now you can use this around the house, okay? Oh, smells like candy canes. It does. Okay. The witch hazel and the alcohol helps it to mix. It helps to keep it, okay? And each time you do this, there we go. Whee! See? And you're kicking demons' asses at the same time. You can throw in the theme music for Scooby Doo. That's what you do. Put it in the background, okay? But that's all you have to do, okay? Now I can go on and on and on about um, negative energy and stuff like that, but I honestly don't want to keep this too long because I'm going to make a ton of videos to really go into it a little bit more, okay? But for right now, cut your cords, ground, protect, do it daily, do it in the shower. It only takes you 5-10 minutes, okay? Honestly, you don't need any more time than that. You get into the practice of doing it every single day, and you will be amazed at how quickly the feeling changes for you, how your energy changes, how your energy shifts, how things start changing. Honestly, been there, done that. Okay, I can tell you right now that you need to put those actions in, especially if you're an empath, especially if you're sensitive. If you're sensitive to energy, you can't bypass this, guys. I'm telling you this right now. I wish everything that I'm teaching right now on this page, I'm telling you this right now, is stuff that I wish that I was taught, that I had somebody to tell me as I had experienced my stuff along the way. A lot of my experiences have, or a lot of my gifts have come on from being self-taught, practicing and stuff like that. You can only get better with practice, okay? But you can't avoid doing your cutting cord ritual. You can't, especially if you need to keep yourself clear every day. I swear to God, it works. I wouldn't be sharing it with you if it didn't, okay? If you knew me and seen the changes in myself, then you know it works, okay? So for right now, I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Sorry I got off on a late start. I don't know why I couldn't connect on this end um on my computer, and I don't see anybody on here. I don't know if anybody's talking to me or anything like that. I can't see anything. So I'm just kind of going with the flow. So I'm crossing my fingers. I sorry guys if you're writing to me and saying anything. I can't see any of the comments right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's where I'm at. I have no idea. But I will look to get it fixed. Maybe it's on my end. I have no idea. Don't know. But anyways, I just wanted to let you know that I am so grateful that you guys showed up. So grateful that you're here sharing with me in these experiences. And I will see you later. Okay? Ciao for now.